Hey, Margaret and Rick, this is Charlie Rose with ShelfGenie. I wanted to follow back up and touch base with you. I did talk to the manufacturer today. We can get a pretty quick turnaround on that. Anywhere between a week and a half and 2 weeks is what we're looking at, but we need to know that sooner than later. I've got all the measurements, so we could actually go off of what I have here, but I want to make sure that the design is what you guys had in mind as well. So I'm going to quickly go through and point out some things that you can't see quite just in looking at it yourself that I wanted to showcase here. Just looking at Margaret's space here as we come in that door, one of the things that we try to do, and I failed to mention this when we talked about it, is we can build these closet units to go all the way to the floor so that they have more of a finished look. The only downside, well, there's a couple of downsides. The downsides that I don't like about doing that, especially in your current situation, is going all the way to the floor and resting on top of that carpet. So if you ever have to take the carpet out and you're going to change it to hardwood or you're going to do anything like that, then these have to be taken out in order to do that. So that becomes a little bit problematic, a little bit of a handful to do that. And then the other thing, going all the way to the floor uses more materials and therefore it's going to cost more. So what we do is we do a wall mount to be able to support that. And the nice thing about that is you can see here, all of these are going to have curved radiuses. So that means you're not going to get scratched or cut just trying to reach under there. Clothes aren't going to get caught and pulled on it. So I want to make sure you're aware of that feature that we do with our closet builds. Here, this bar, it's hard to tell. It's a little misleading with the color. It's going to be an oval black. You can somewhat tell that it's oval here, but it's hard to tell that it's black in that. So that's one thing that I wanted to point out and highlight to you. Now, I'm not going to go in through all of the different closets, but I wanted to make sure just to showcase and at least talk about hers here. When you come in that doorway and the door swings against the back, you've immediately got some space here. On this left-hand wall, we've got adjustable shelves. They can be good for shoes, sweaters, folded up easily in that space. This is for the long hang that you have here. So you've got some space there if you want to use the entire width of that. You've got two shelves above it. And then as you move all the way around the closet, you can see you've got a shelf here and then a shelf above it before you get to the top of the ceiling. So this is going to be ample space for you guys. This is going to rest right at 8 feet here. So this is going to be just below 7 with this top bar. And I want to make sure you guys had a good feel for what that was going to look like. Here, if we cut away the wall where you're first coming in the door at this corner, you can kind of see what kind of space we have here. And if we go to the opposite side, this is coming in through the door, and you'll see the adjustable shelving that you have in this space. So we're going to look at Rick's closet. Just as you first come in the door, you can see here in the long, skinny closet, if we put hanging on this side, it's going to make it really crowded because the hangers are going to hang out a little bit too. This side is 14 inches deep, and this one I believe is 14 as well. It could be 12 on there. I have to double check. But you've got all the double hang that we talked about on both sides. And in the very back, you've got a shelf up above those and then a shelf up above that. You still have this shelf down here below, which I like, that allows you to put room. If you do things like slacks and fold those that don't hang as long, you've got room for shoes all down through here, as well as shoes, foldable items, shorts, or anything like that that you may want to put in this space here. So I want to make sure we looked at that. If we look at it from the other end of the closet there, you can see what we have with Rick's closet as we're looking out toward the back. You can kind of see the shelves that we have on the left. This is where the double hang will reach back in behind. And then you've got all this section of double hang through here. So it's going to be a lot of space that you can look at and access. If we cut away that front wall, I think that's toward the bedroom there. This would be the wall that's going to have all the shelving. That's a lot of storage space that you have for double hang. And then this is what it's going to look like here. And then the door will open up back against that space. So this is very sturdy. It gives you some foot space above the floor. So that way, if you want to put shoes down there or anywhere that you may not fill this completely up, for example, with hanging clothes, it could be ideal for luggage or carry on or things that you want to stack on the floor in that space. So I want to make sure you could see that and understand what we were looking at there. Now we're going to look at the pantry. And what I like about the pantry here is we're going to put 4 shelves that are open, so we don't have a drawer front on it. It makes it easy to see in there, to see what you have. Didn't want to overwhelm you with a ton of drawers. We can certainly do more or do less if you wanted to, but what I wanted to show you here is how we do these corner shelves. What's nice is this is not a 2-piece shelf. This is one L-shaped corner. It's got a 6-inch radius there. That's one of the things that we like to do that's unique to us. Some companies may do it, but very few of them like to do that because it's a little bit harder to build that, a little bit harder to construct it, but it does give for a more sturdy finish there. and it gives us a lot of space. So the left-hand side is a little bit shallower because we've got the doorway and the entrance here. This back side is going to be deeper, so you can kind of see from there, and you can look at the measurements and see what we have in that space. And then here's kind of the cutaway that shows you what it's going to look like with that one wall there as you open up that space. So it's going to give you ample storage. I like this unit here being big and open. So big bulky things can go in this corner. Things that may be layered and double deep can go here on this side to the left of the corner. So that gives us a lot of options in that space. And here is the rear bedroom. This is just our simulated rack where you'd put things on it. We can move this up as high as we need it to be. Right now it's just showing it at the top of this being right at 8 feet tall. So that's dropped down a little bit. So we could lift that certainly to give you more space. There doesn't have to be a shelf here if we want to put that bar up higher, so that way you can move and make sure you got room for the rack. So want to know exactly where you want to put that when you get that in. And just looking at that space here, you can see kind of what that's going to look like. Setting off from the end. This one's uniform as far as it being left and right being pretty equal. The front bedroom is offset, and I'll show you that here in just a second what that looks like. And here you can see the front bedroom. We got double hanging across the entire width. This left-hand side has more of a return on it. I didn't do anything special or try to create anything in that back space, but just wanted to show you what that's going to look like and how close the clothing is going to be there. This side is very tight to the base frame is very tight to that side wall. And so you can kind of see what you're looking at. Again, all of these rods are going to be black, a matte black finish. And here's the hall closet. We've just got the shelving that is on the left-hand side. So we're just taking advantage of that space where you've got the panel box there in the middle. So we're just taking advantage of the left wall. I think this is 8 or 10 inches. I have to double check the measurements on that, but it's adjustable shelving, so it gives you some opportunity to store cleaners or other things in that space that best suit what you have there. And so you can see there, I just wanted to recap some of that, but you've got several other items there, like the other linen closet that you have, the guest entry bathroom, as well as the master bath linen, very similar, just putting shelving in that space that's adjustable. But I wanted to make sure, see if you guys had any questions. The total amount's $10,810. If you want to move forward on that, we do a deposit of 50%. We do the rest upon completion. But that's going to give you an idea of kind of how we function. But if we want to move on this, we need to kind of get the balls rolling, because I've got to submit it. They'll approve it, send it back to me. I got to do a technical drawing review. So all that stuff takes some time. So once we do that, then that clock starts. But I want to make sure that you guys know if we want to do this, we need to get moving pretty quick. That way we can hit the timelines and get you guys set up and going. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Let me know if this is in your budget. If there's things that we need to change or tweak, there's ways that we can take some cost out of it. But I want to make sure that first and foremost, the design is the direction you want to go. And then the timeline is something that we can meet. And then everything else we'll take care of as well. So thank you so much. Look forward to chatting with you and seeing how we can help.